Today we have a Division 4 game from the Blood and Tears Perpetual League. My name is Jurassics and I am the head coach of Pointy United, an Elven Union team, and we are playing J Winter 71 with their Chaos Renegades team known as the Legion of Boom. Today's match is going to be very closely fought and particularly vicious. Let's head over and see what happened. Pointy United had the higher TV, so we didn't purchase anything. However, the Legion of Boom went ahead and purchased Bloodweiser Keg and 2 assistant coaches. Let's see what the toss is. And we won the toss and we decide to receive the ball. We got a perfect conditions roll for the weather, and both teams set up in a pretty typical fashion, I would say. We kept our players as much as possible away from the line of scrimmage with these heavy hitters at the front, and just sort of seeing how this would evolve as we go through the first initial plays of this game. And we got kickoff, which gave us a quick snap, so we did move a few players. And a very good kick there from the Legion of Boom. We got our blitz in early and got a very poor push, which was not very useful. Brought our player back into contention. And that classic failing of the pickup there from our thrower, wasting a reroll very early on, and then just skipping our players away from those heavy hitters before moving some of our players into a more aggressive position. And that was quite a short turn one. J Winter moving his big one forward. And a very unfortunate push on that as well. Not seeing the heavy hits, but now the Minotaur rushes in. 3 dice, defender stumbles, heavy hit for a stun, and then he moves his ogre, renegade ogre, up. Still learning some of these players, and setting up quite a defensive position. But obviously he's got us tied up on the left, so we're gonna try going down the right. We get another push on that blitz. Of all the rolls we could get, we get a push and a defender down twice on our first 2 blitz. And then we set up a simple little cage, get out, throw it close as possible and get the ball to our catcher. And then we're just running one of our other catchers round the back there. And a blitzer, making 2 dodges. Just giving ourselves some options. Straight away, a 3 dice from the ogre. Heavy hit for a knockout. Now J Winter's putting in some coverage and he throws the blitz in with the Minotaur, and he gets both down and no block on that catcher yet, before following up to really trap these players a little bit. Setting up some coverage down the right now. The 2-player wall defense. Don't know what everyone's calling it, but we'll call it the 2-player wall. Makes it a bit tricky for the elves. Goes for a block with the troll. Defender stumbles. Serious injury. So early again. We take that serious injury. Not going to use our apothecary this early for a lineman. We do have a spare one. Now we go for a blitz straight up, and finally we get hit. And then go for a dodge. We decide to move the ball into the centre here. And I think, yes, there we go. We do a handoff. But I don't think this was the best move we could have made at this stage. We really sort of brought all of our players in for Jay Winter to really cause us some problems moving forward. Now he gets his troll into the action by moving that player, giving him a helping hand. And what I liked about Jay Winter was he was very good at defensive coverage. I really struggled to break down some of the coverage that he put in place. Oh, and he goes for a blitz with his ogre, uses the pro skill, manages to succeed on the bonehead roll, but just gets a pushback. And then he gets another knockdown. We've got sidestep, and I decide to skip towards the touchline. Quick. So Jay Winter, like I was just saying, was very good at setting up this defensive position. I was unable to get a 2 dice block anywhere without risking anything else. We didn't have players that we could dodge, so we had to make the block with what I would say is one of our stronger players on the team, and doesn't help get attacker down, and can't use any of those skills that we've got on that player. The block just did not help, so we really, that was a tough turn for us. And then straight away the ogre throws a block on our thrower and gets a knockout. So Jay Winter gets a both down roll on this capture here, chooses to wrestle, and they both go down. And now he goes in with his lineman to pick up the ball, and he fails the pickup with a reroll, and the ball bounces over for a turnover. Now this is an opportunity where we could potentially get the ball back, but he's got excellent coverage once again. We managed to pull off a block on the ogre. No, sorry, the troll. Then go for a blitz, which gives Jay Winter's lineman a head injury. So we finally get a player off the pitch, and now our catcher up here decides to make a dodge away and fails. And because we've got no rerolls, we have caused another turnover. But fortunately, we have got players in and around the ball. We do have a couple with sidestep, so that does make it better. And the Minotaur follows up with a frenzy. Gets a stunned. Now the ogre fails his bonehead skill. We get a block from the lineman on our catcher, who has the sidestep skill. He gets pushed back to the ball where it skips around, and it ends up in this space here between 2 of each players. And we use the sidestep skill to move away instead of getting that ball. Again, sidestep, and I bring him out to the side, so hopefully he can move on. And Jay Winter brings his player in to protect, to stop that dodge away. Makes it very challenging for even the elves during this game. And this first half is going really quick, with neither team really making any progress. A blitzer gets up and causes a good block, but is unable to do anything else. And we get another attacker down. Now there's lots of players here. Not much we could do. So now the lineman throws a block on our catcher, who has defender stumbles, and he sidesteps out the way. Now the Minotaur gets involved, and again sidestep away with the defender stumbles, and then he gets the pow, and he goes for a stunned. Now the ogre fails their bonehead again. We have a block from the Skaven on our catcher without sidestep, and he gets pow, pushes him out the way. The orc makes the both down and has block on our lineman, and effectively freed up a lot of the players around the ball, but really needs to get that ball out and towards the touchdown if they want to score in this half. I spend the first part of this turn trying to regroup. We bring our catcher here so that we can throw a blitz on this orc, and we get a pushback, which isn't ideal. Pushing back onto the ball, hoping it would pop out to our blitzer, and instead it comes to our catcher, who has already made the move. So now we are really trying to think tactically, how do we protect our catcher, and maybe long shot we can get them into the touchdown on our final turn. And our blitzer makes the block on that orc, gets a pow, and now we have to try and create some coverage for this catcher. Now we get a block from the Minotaur, gets a pushback, the defender stumbles using sidestep, so we really sort of take advantage, try and make the most out of that. And now this ogre is blocking our blitzer here, and he gets a badly hurt, and we decide to use our apothecary, and we get a no injury roll. Good lucky roll to have him for the second half. Now Jay Winter uses his blitz on the catcher, gets a both down, uses a reroll, and gets the both down, but his has block, and he's able to get the ball out. Now at this stage, Jay Winter is really not able to score on their final turn, and all I've got to do is really try not to get any more players injured in this first half. Jay Winter's got one injured, I've got one injured, and two knocked out, so we could really do with not suffering anything more. Now we use our blitz to try and push our blitzer out down here, so hopefully we can grab the ball, pick it up. We fail the pickup, obviously, because why would it go our way? And we get the turnover. Now it's Jay Winter's final turn. Gets a 3 dice block on our catcher from the ogre, and it is a neck injury. Oh god, definitely not what we wanted. Sorry, that was the troll, not the ogre. That's the ogre. Ogre gets a knockout. So now we have 2 badly injured and 3 knocked out. He gets a both down, and then gets defender stumbles. Oof! We got away with that. Frenzy from the Minotaur. Gets 2 pushbacks. That's lucky. Now the other block on our blitzer, who has defender stumbles, dodges out the way, and again, defender stumbles, dodges. So pretty much this is coming to the end of this half, with lots of blood spilled for a 0-0 at the turn. So fortunately we get 2 of our players back from knocked out, but we are down 2 players. So for our kickoff, we set up with as best as we could in terms of our team lining up. We have only got 9 players on the pitch against a full team of Chaos Renegades. He's even still got 1 on the bench, and he stacked the line of scrimmage with his players. Now our player's got kick. He kicks it right to the back corner. Nice positioning there, making the Legion of Boom work for it. And gets a nice wrestle for that, for no injury for either. Now Jay Winter uses a few players to provide some coverage at the back there, knowing the Elven team can really get in behind the lines very quickly. The Ogre fails his bonehead test, and then the Skaven goes and picks up the ball. The Troll throws the block, 2 dice, ow, and are badly hurt. Like how much worse can this game get? So now we are down to 8 players, and it's really about trying to get some coverage in here. We're using our players with block to get a spearhead in there, pulling one of our catchers back, our strongest catcher back, to provide coverage, and then using our blitz to take the first hit in our turn, and we get stunned. That's pretty good. Not much more I think we could have done at that stage. And then we see Jay Winter forming up the cage around the Skaven, using his blitz on the catcher on the corner of the cage. Gets a pow, nicely done. Knocks down, but leaves a little gap here, so he's got to provide a little coverage, cause some problems for the Elven team. There we go. He's lined up his players, and somehow the Ogre on his own succeeds on his bonehead test and gets the movement over to the blitzer. So, well, you'd think straight run down the middle, keep the elves to the side, use your players. But what can we do in this turn? Well, we get some coverage back. We use our block, get 2 dice on this player, and move away from the troll, bring up our other catcher. Now we bring in our players, create a solid defense line, get a dodge for the blitz, use the both down, but and use our blitzer to come in and get good coverage on the Skaven, bring our catcher back, and we also get the dodge away from the Minotaur. So Jay Winter now has to work a little bit to get their players moving forward, and his Ogre fails, and his Ogre succeeds on the bonehead test, gets the block on the catcher, and moves away to have a very strong right hand cage there with 2 big uns on the side. He does a good job of getting some coverage here, and also kind of traps at players here. And again, we've got a lot of our coverage out of position. Jay Winter is doing really well to make us work. Try and get close to this ball carrier. We get the 2 dice on the lineman, so we can use that to push the players back. So we managed to get the troll, push back, and a knockout, luckily. Frees our players up a little bit there. We bring our thrower back for coverage and another catcher. Able to throw a 2 dice block there, get both down, and then our blitzer is able to get in, get at that corner, pick away at that scab. So this was a very unfortunate roll for Jay Winter. Decided to use the blitz with the troll, who fails the really stupid skill. Doesn't use the reroll, so loses that blitz, which I think is unfortunate for Jay Winter. And now he forms a very strong cage for the ball carrier. Oh, and a dodge away failure for that lineman, which causes a turnover, which surprised me. I thought maybe the blitz would come here first. Maybe he was just trying to move this player away. And actually they still had 4 rerolls, so very surprised they didn't choose to use that. But also it does mean we have to, if we decide to move away with this, we will have to dodge away. So now we've got them up against, running down the side. We can really push them over a little bit. We use our blitzer to blitz the Minotaur. Why not? And then we get base-to-base contact with the ball carrier, and we're moving our players up and just generally being a constant pain to these players. If I'm honest, this really wasn't the best situation to have the end of the turn. Very weak down this side. Think Jay Winter maybe would think about blocking these players out, pushing everyone, and then opening up a corridor down here. And obviously I've now got my blitzer trapped here between 3 players as well. Not the best turn. And that was a strange move. Not seeing the strategy of why moving the ogre back, but it then looks like we're going to move the cage back to here. Maybe dragging out the turn a little bit longer. Gets a good block on that catcher, and we are down to 7 players now for the rest of the half against a 10-player team. The Minotaur gets the frenzy and gets in behind the back there, and that really is not an ideal situation for us. Ogre gets a block. It's just a pow. Lucky, we're very lucky on that one. And now we are in a very, very dire situation. So in this situation, what would you have done? We've got all of our players kind of caught up and really multiple tackle zones. So not a good place to be in. We bring our thrower over to give ourselves a little bit of coverage. We get our other thrower to get a push on that lineman, and then manage to dodge away with our blitzer for another push. Like, what was it with this game and pushes for the Elven Union? And now we're really trying to get coverage. Had to use a reroll to get that dodge through. And I think that was the best we probably could have done. We maybe could have moved this player away, but didn't she use a reroll? Then the ogre uses fails again to do anything. So with that one lineman, we managed to get Jay Winter to use up 4 players to try and get a successful outcome. And now he's coming back once again to create the cage down the side. Has to use a reroll for his lineman. And at this stage, I'm thinking Jay Winter has to make a drive for the end zone. Otherwise, this is going to be a 0-0 draw. And we're just going to try and cause as much problems here. We use our reroll to get a better outcome and get POW. And again, we fail to break the armor. But yeah, we are definitely just trying to cause a problem and really suffocate Jay Winter in trying to get down here. So we use our catcher instead of our lineman to get him off our base, which allows us to bring him down for coverage. And we also get our blitzer out. Now it's the second to last turn for Jay Winter, and his ogre gets a block on our lineman. He's already injured, and there we go. That ogre has been going for that all game. Now the Minotaur goes for the blitz, gets a frenzy and a POW on the thrower. Heyo. We're just down to 5 players. It's an absolute bloodbath, this game. Yeah, if we even draw this will be just incredible, but I don't think that's going to happen. He gets his Skaven out, heading for the touchdown. Now he goes for the rush. And what? It's a reroll and he fails the rush. This could be disastrous for the Legion of Boom. Failed the reroll and he's really left the back of that cage open. And we all know how tricky elves can be. Right, we move our catcher in. Go for the blitz. Got to use a reroll. And we've got the defender stubbles. And the ball pops out. We use our blitzer to get him out. Over to a handoff for the catcher, who uses Nerves of Steel and gets him down the line. And we provide a little coverage with that catcher. So in that turn, we've gone from looking jaws of defeat to getting the ball in the hands of a highly experienced catcher up into deep into Jay Winter's half. And this really doesn't leave them with many options. Their players don't have the best movement. The troll, nope, be really risking it. So he's really going to have to think. I'm going to have to use the lineman. With 1 dice, we've got 2 players up here with good mobility, and the ball carrier has sidestep. Let's see what happens. Last turn, we definitely, I would say, got a draw. Worst case scenario. And here he goes. 1 dice, defender stumbles, rerolls, attacker down. That's it for Jay Winter. Turnover on the last turn. And we run it in. No messing around. 1-0. Final play of the game. For an incredible win by Pointy United. With only 5 players on the pitch. That was an incredible game. What a game. 1-0 to Pointy United. But well played to Jay Winter. Very close game and incredibly unlucky on that last play. But that was a fantastic game.